Hello, 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 everyone. Marietta here. Oh, it's Sunday, and I have been resting. After I gave that live this morning, y'all go check out my morning live if you missed it. And as I got here and I began to pray and I began to think about Walmart, how Walmart is saying that they're going to have to raise their prices due to these tariffs. As if their prices wasn't already raised. I thought they'd already raised their prices. The price of things in Walmart has already skyrocketed. And the sad part about it is the Walmart goods that are in Walmart are not your high quality pieces of clothes or this, that, and the other thing. They're no different than if you ordered your clothes from Temu, Shein, or any place else. The quality of the clothes that they have in Walmart, God knows, are not worth the prices that they're already charging for them. So them saying that they're going to raise their prices due to the tariffs is nothing new to us. It's nothing new to us. So those of you that can afford to shop in Walmart, buy what you can buy, and if you can't, you just leave it alone. Just simple as that. That's why I say that this is no time to be getting rid of clothing. This is no time to be throwing away much of anything unless it's completely all used up and you can't use it anymore. But to be able to, even if you outgrow your clothes, but they're still good, put them in a tub, I would suggest, and put a lid on them and set them in a corner. And maybe somebody can use them, or maybe you can use them to sell to help make money to help with your household budget. Because right about now, it just seems as though that, everything is going to keep going up, and it is what it is. So we got to sit back and just take an evaluation of how we're spending. And just say to yourself, if I can't afford it, I don't need it. If I cannot afford it, I don't need it. But in the meantime, do not allow these situations to constantly keep making you stressed and depressed. Because this is not the beginning of something that's going to last for a few days. This is the beginning of something that's going to go on for a long time. Because you know for yourself as well as I do, once them prices go up, there's no bringing them back down. Even when they think they have something on sale, it's going to be really, truly out of your reach. It's going to be out of your budget. It's going to be too much for you to be able to afford on just your regular income. So many people, even on I'm hearing so many people that have college degrees and things of that nature, they're getting laid off. They can't afford the lifestyle that they have been living for quite a while. So they're downsizing. They're actually coming up out of these places and they're beginning to look for somewhere else smaller, somewhere else to be. And I'm trying to tell y'all that right now, what's going on in the earth right now is not designed for you to win. It's not designed for you to win. You got to be smart about these things and see what's in front of you. See what's in front of you. I mean, there's a lot of things that is happening in the earth, and it has to happen. Believe me, it has to happen. It's not nothing new. Like I try to tell y'all, there's nothing new under the sun. So what's going on has to happen. The Bible speaks of these times, and we're living in our last days right now. So we're going to have to realize that we're going to have to go through some things, and we're going to have to endure some things, and we're going to have to cut out our unnecessary spending, and we're going to have to really stop wasting so much and stop wasting the very thing that we need to survive, such as food, such as water, such as the clothing that we put on our back. We need these things. So therefore, the things that you need, like even as far as toothpaste to brush your teeth, you're going to have to start rationing that out so that you will be able to have enough of that to even brush your teeth. Because, when I sit here and I think about how things are going, and then I hear Walmart saying that they're going to have to raise their prices due to these tariffs, and then I hear somebody else says, just eat it. You just eat them tariffs. You eat them tariffs and don't impose them tariffs on the American people, this, that, and other thing. Well, one thing I can say is I understand business. I understand that this is a business. I understand they got to do what they got to do to stay afloat. But in the same respect, if nobody's buying their goods, if it's supply and demand, if nobody's buying it and nobody can afford to go get it, it does not matter if they take one pair of jeans and raise that pair of Levi's up to $10,000. They would just be sitting there until somebody can afford to go in there that's willing to pay $10,000 for that one pair of Levi's. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that would pay that $10,000 for that one pair of Levi's. I mean, just remember now, we got people out there that's paying $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for a purse, for a pocketbook. I mean, they're paying for a name. That bag is not going to hold no more than that Walmart bag is going to hold. And if you need that bag to make you look like something, then you must be a really ugly person. You must be really have to have your confidence raised. I don't need my confidence raised because I'm a very confident young lady, and I don't need no pocketbook to tell me, or no pocketbook for nobody to look at me and say how much my value is, or I'm valuable because of this. I'm valuable because of this item. Because, you know, a lot of people have bought things. A lot of people bought things. We got so many national disasters that are coming through right now that these things do not matter to certain people. They do not matter in this season, because anytime we have national disasters that can wipe out a whole city, them persons are going down that line with them. Them Louis Vuittons, them Chanel, them Birkins, them, all of it's going right down the drain right along with it. All the groceries in the world is not going to stop the national disaster if it comes. If God sends it to be able to flush out your whole area, and he's sick of all the sickness that's going on in the land, it doesn't matter what you have or how you have it or how much of you have, the car you drive, the house you live in, it will all be destroyed. He will destroy everything that gets in his way and everything that gets in his path that's not like him. So I'm trying to tell y'all keep chasing these material things and putting these material things before God, and putting these material things before the people that you love, and putting these material things, just using them as weapons against people and using them as pawns in your daily life. It's not good. It's not good, because if you just sit back and think, do you think for 1 minute that those things are going to save you in a crisis? Do you think for 1 minute those things are going to make you look better to anybody else in a crisis? Do you think for 1 minute that people are going to look up to you in a crisis because you have certain material pieces of things? No, you got to wake up. And I'm not saying you might not want some nice things. You might want some nice things. But what I'm saying is, when you begin to use those nice things against or opposed to you living a decent life and being here in life and being able to speak life over somebody else, or you use those things against other people, or you using those things to make other people feel bad, or you buying these things and then you losing everything you got because now you're upset, now you want to fight because you got to sell these things, these very same things that you collected, this collection that you bought, or you got to sell it now in order to pay your bills. Okay, it is what it is. It is what it is. Because one thing I can tell you, you'll never see a U-Haul following that hearse. Those things are not going to the grave with you. They're not going to go in the ground with you. You will depart from them at some point. So it's best you take a deep breath and learn that right now there may be coming a time. This may be a good time. This may be a good time for you to learn how to budget. This may be a good time for you to learn how to live on a fixed income. This may be a good time for you to how to learn to live with a little bit of less. Learn to live in a little bit less. Learn to drive a little bit less. Because I'm trying to tell you, when one thing happens, it begins a snowball effect. 1 minute it's the food. Then next minute it's a whole store. Then next minute it'll be the gas to get there. The next minute it'll be the transportation. Next thing to go is the job. Then the next thing to go is your health, from worrying yourself to death about all of it when you can't do nothing about none of it. Can you add any time to your life by worrying about things you cannot change? You cannot add 1 day, not 1 hour to your life worrying about things that won't change. But one thing you can do is figure out how you're going to save your life in the midst of this storm, in the midst of this sickness, in the midst of the diseases and everything that's going to come upon the land. I mean, we got through 2020. Yeah, we got through it. Some people did not make it. Some people did not make it. And some people may not make it through this. Some people may not make it through this. The way the world is today, the things that are happening today, and all the national disasters that are happening, hitting the world, and then there's no money to fund them, and people are still being displaced. People are still being left outdoors. People are still being left with no money, no clothes, no nothing. I mean, it's a sad time that we're living in, and it's a praying time. It's not a time for nobody to be greedy and worried about what they ain't got. And I know a lot of you probably say, that's not my business. I'm not worried about them, or if they ain't got nothing, they should have did better with their life. That's easy to say. That's easy for you to say when it hasn't hit your house yet. And I did say yet. Because when you feel like that, trust and believe, disaster will knock on your door. And when it knocks on your door, see if you have that same energy. See if you have that same energy when it knocks on your children's door. See if you have that same energy when it knocks on your mother, your father, your grandkids' door. See if you got that same energy. We got to learn to stop thinking about just ourselves. And we got to learn that we got to be in a place where we can actually pray for somebody else and hope that somebody else's life gets better. Because knowing that you've got siblings, or knowing that you've got grandkids, or knowing that you've got children, and you know that they're going to bed hungry every single night because of the fact that you can't afford, not because you're lazy, not because you didn't make enough, because you didn't go to work or you didn't go make no money. It's just that it's not enough. It's not enough. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing so many couples are falling apart because of money. Money is the reason why a lot of relationships break down as it is. And now with the strain of what we're going through, instead of them standing together, instead of them coming together, instead of them trying to work things out together, instead of them pulling together, they're pulling away from each other. They're fighting with each other. They're destroying the whole home. And the kids are the ones that are going to suffer the most. Why? Because now that one income, you're down to one income. And most of the time is left. I'm not saying the fathers don't end up in this situation, but majority of the time it's the women that end up with these children trying to struggle and trying to unprotected. Not only that, you're leaving your home unprotected. So I'm saying this to say, if y'all can work it out, if y'all could just don't destroy the whole household because of what you don't have, begin to work together with what you got. If you got to downsize, do so. Don't worry about what the neighbor's going to say, what your family going to say. Don't worry about caring about what you lost, as long as y'all don't lose you. As long as you don't lose the love that you have had, the love that God has given you as a family, lose those children in the process. As long as you don't lose you, you can work it out. You'll be surprised how much love you can find in a smaller place. You'll be surprised how many memories you can build right in that same smaller place. But what you got to do is you got to take that income that you have and don't make matters worse by splitting up and going your separate ways, because neither one of you at that time is going to have enough money to do anything. Anything. If you once was in love and you once loved each other and you stood by each other and you stood with each other, what's happening now? What's happening now? Trials will come. If you thought that you being married or you thought you being in love with somebody was going to mean that there was never going to be any problems, or trials were not coming, there was never going to be any sorrow, there was never going to be any pain, there was never going to be that, then you married into a delusion. This is not, marriage is for grown folks. Let's just say that from the beginning. It's for grown folks. Grown folks. Too many people are getting married and they don't understand the constitution of marriage. They don't understand what it is to work through some things. They don't understand their position even as a husband and a wife. They don't understand that these things do come and they do happen, but it's how you work through them. If you're not just giggling hee and you're going to the mall, you're spending, you're going out to eat and y'all just laughing and y'all going to the movies, y'all think that that's all marriage is. That's not it. That's not it. There's going to come a time that you're going to have to cry together. There's going to come a time that you have to pray together. There's going to come a time that you have to work together. There's going to come a time that you have to actually pay bills together. That's called being grown. That's called taking care of your household. That's called building a life. All this negativity that we got going on, God is not pleased. He is not pleased. Man saying they don't want no woman, woman saying they don't want no man. So that all that tells us is that you're becoming lovers of yourself. The word speaks of that too. The word speaks of that too. And you want to be delusional. You want to get on these lines. You want, I don't want no man. I'm never going to date a man again. I'm just that. And you only 40 years old. What you going to date? What is you going to date? What is you going to date at this age? I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to date no woman. I don't want to marry another woman. I don't want a this color woman. I don't want a that color woman. What are you going to date? What is it you're going to date? You're going to hang out with your boys. You're going to keep going with them. And then a spirit going to come upon you. A spirit going to come upon you. And it's not going to be a good spirit. So it's better you take time to heal from whatever it is that has broken you. Heal from whatever trauma you've picked up along the way. And you will pick up some. It's not the fact that you will not go through. It's how you go through. And you take time and heal from it. And then you move on. But if you continue to keep operating in that trauma by saying, I don't want to date this kind of woman. You got the right to date whoever you love, whoever color woman you want. But heal from whatever it is you've been through before you move on. Don't just use that and start spewing stuff all over the world about how much you hate somebody and how much you did this when you also played a part in that situation. Don't be a victim. Learn how to be victorious in whatever it is you go through. Learn the lesson. Learn the lesson that you will be blessed. That's all it is. Because when we go through stuff, that's all it is. When we go through heartache and pain, okay, it hurts for that minute, but after a while, time will get rid of it. Time will slow it down. Time will make it to the point where it'll be all right. And you will have learned the lesson. And then you won't repeat that foolishness over and over and over again. And you might repeat it a couple of times until you actually learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn from it. And then you'll be able to move on. I just see so much going on in the world today. And people are so worried about, Walmart and Walmart's prices and this, that, and other thing. Walmart's prices are high already. So if they're going to raise their prices by the end of May and they plan to impose them tariffs because they can't afford to absorb that cost, then so be it. So be it. So be it. So be it. Buy what you can buy. Do what you can do. Cut back where you can cut back. And get what you can get. That's all it is. Summertime is coming. You got to find some joy and some peace somewhere in here. If you continue to keep worrying about these situations and worrying about how they're going to turn out, you're going to be a frustrated, worried soul. It's going to eat you alive because your mind is not going to be on nothing but a bunch of negative foolishness that you cannot control. A bunch of negative foolishness that you cannot control. It ain't even about you. Your little bit of money that you use in shopping at Walmart, as they claim, if you shopping at Walmart, you already broke. It's not like you at Tiffany's. It's not like you shopping at Nordstrom's. It's not even like you at H&M as far as that concerned. It's Walmart. It's Walmart. You're 2 steps away from the dollar store, 2 steps away from the Salvation Army. Walmart and the Salvation Army prices are about the same right now anyway. Go check out your local thrift stores and see exactly what I'm talking about. I was in there the other day and they had a used shirt for $9, a used shirt for $8. That's used. So people are actually looking at the world being in a mess. And they can take whatever they got and they can put a price on it for whatever they want. It's going to come down to supply and demand. How bad do you want it? Do you really need it? Or are you willing to pay that extra dollar for it? And that's anything. I don't care what it is. It could be these eyeglasses I got on. I could come upon a person that really got to have these same eyeglasses I got on. And if I want to take them off my face, I can sell them to them for $500. And they'll either pay the $500 or move on. And this is what the world is coming down to. So you got to be strong and you got to be resourceful and you got to learn how to not only guard your heart in this season, you better guard your pocketbook. You better start being able to guard your wallet. You better start being able to spend what you can spend and get what you can get while you can get it. This is not about them building you up. This is not about the world building you up. Because you're going to be working with the same little bit of money every time these price hikes go up. We're working with the same little bit of money. So you got to fend for yourself. And you only know what's coming in your house. You only know how much money you got to work with. Only you know that. So you may have to come together with the person you're living with and figure out how y'all can either get an extra income, how y'all can budget out what you got, how you can cut costs where you can, how you can use the things you got. You just got to be resourceful. That's it. And that's all. And once you've done all that, and once you put everything you have into action, the word teaches us when you've done all you can, then you just stand. That's it. That's it. You just stand and trust God to provide the things that you need. Trust God to be there through the hard times. Trust God to be able to work through what you can't work through. Because the thing, you can only do what you can do. And what you can do is pray about the rest. That's about it. That's about it. And give your angels something to do. Give them some work to do. Because you're not going to be able to do it all. And you're not made to do it all. You don't have to do it all. There's a prayer life that you have to have in order to be able to lock in so that you can get the rest of what you need. Some of the things y'all need are locked in and are locked into the way you pray. Some of the things y'all need are connected to the prayer life that you have. Some of the things are locked in that you have not gotten because you have not prayed for them. The word teaches us that some things will be added onto us. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all those things should be added on to you. Some things y'all praying for, you ain't even got to pray for. They were just added. They'll be just added. Pray for things that only God can do, like a healing in your body. You don't have to pray for little things. I mean, you can ask for little things, but those little things are not even important in this season. They're not important in this season. Pray that your faith don't fail, because there's a struggle that you're about ready to go through. The struggle that you feel right now. The tension that you feel in your home, the tension that you feel when you go to work, the tension that you feel when you go get your paycheck, the tension you feel when you go to check out at the register, the tension you feel while you're walking through Walmart picking up stuff and you realizing the same amount of money don't get you as much no more. Pray for that. Pray for God to relieve you of that tension. because you don't want to end up having yourself into bad sickness or causing yourself to have stress, anxiety, heart attacks, and strokes and all of that because of the fact that you're upset because of the fact that you can only get a certain amount. And truly, if you just really look at it and think about it, what you're buying is probably just enough. It's just enough. But the price is just what it is. So at this, they have it and we need it. So if the eggs are $6, $5, if we need that egg, we're going to have to pay that $6. Or you're going to have to go get you some chickens, which is still going to cost because the chickens will lay eggs and they will give you more in the long run. But you still got to go buy them and you still got to feed them and you still got to build a place for them. Think about it. Weigh out your options and do what's best for you and your family in this season. But what I don't want you to do is take your whole summer stressing out over some tariffs and over what Walmart choose to do with their prices. I know Walmart is in everybody's town. I know Walmart is one of the major chains that everybody goes and shops at because they're there. Some people, that's all they got in their city or in their town is a Walmart. So when you go into that Walmart with your pennies in your hand or your paycheck in your hand or whatever you got in your hand, do yourself a favor and count up the cost before you go in there. Figure out what it is you need and go in there and get what you need and come on up out of there. Because y'all know a lot of times we go into Walmart, we stay in there too long and we end up picking up stuff that we don't need. We start buying a lot of stuff that we really want that we really don't need. And or we carry home duplicates of everything we already got at home. So you figure out how your house needs to function. You figure out how much money you want to leave in Walmart. And if and so your budget is $50, stick to the budget. Stick to the budget. I don't care if it comes down to $53. Put that $3 worth back. And just stick to the budget. Learn to write a budget. Learn to stick to the budget. And you'll be just fine. Because those tariffs that Walmart is talking about, there's nothing you can do about it. And so they put them tariffs on their goods. Those are their goods. That is their cross to bear. And it's your cross to bear whether you buy them or not. So with that being said, I love y'all. And I hope that answers some of y'all questions about and get rid of some of your fears where it's a concern about dealing with the tariffs and dealing with Walmart. And it's not just with Walmart. Use this tactic for wherever you go and whatever situation you're in. You know what you can afford. You know what's in your pocket. You know what you're willing to pay. So if it's out of your reach, it's just out of your reach. It's the same way I feel when I walk into Nordstrom's. I love going into Nordstrom's and look around, but a lot of things that Nordstrom sell is out of my reach, but yet they're beautiful. Yet I can go in there and I can walk through, and one day, I may be able to go in there and come out of there with something that I want. But to this day, there is nothing in Nordstrom's that I can afford to go in and buy because everything is entirely over my budget. But I still like to go into Nordstrom's and look around. I still like to go into the major chains and look around. We do. But yet and still, you handle Walmart the same way. If you walk in there, you don't see nothing that you can afford. You don't see nothing that's in your budget. You don't see nothing that you're willing to spend that extra dollar for. Don't spend it. Just keep it. Just keep it and keep adding on to it. And little by little, one day, by and by, you may one day, before you leave this earth, be able to go in there and purchase what it is you want. Amen? So with that being said, I want to let y'all know that I love y'all. And I pray that this message will help you. And I help you with elevating your mind and your way of thinking. And I pray that it will leave you uplifted, motivated, and inspired to be able to evaluate your own situation. And if you stayed here this long and you have watched this whole video, consider subscribing to the channel. It truly does help the channel grow. And if and so you have not turned your notification bells on so you will be notified when I drop my next video, please do so at this time. Turn your notification bells on. And I love y'all, and y'all be blessed. Until next time.